Happy Sunday. I hope everyone is having a great Sunday watching the World Cup, and that's a big game today. And I also hope you're staying out of the heat. Well, the world's getting hotter, and I'm not just saying the temperature. I'm just reading a article from the South China Post in which talks about the new non-alignment movement led by Canada, which I think is a good idea. It could keep the peace between Beijing and Washington from going from cold to hot. And Carney is probably one of the top international spokesmen, and I believe he doesn't hate the United States. I think he wants to work with those Americans that he can work with in order to maintain a peaceful world. And I'm all for it. I agree with that. But China's rise is also causing undue nerves in the European Union right now. I just also was reading in another article the European automakers are demanding tariffs and investment restrictions put on Chinese cars coming into the European Union. Volkswagen just laid off people, but China's automobile industry is on the rise. And of course, that's probably one of the large reasons why Canada and the U.S. are having trade problems. Is a large part due to the automobile and autos. Canada is greatly encouraging Chinese investment in the automobile investment industry. Of course, Detroit is upset about that. Well, Detroit really has nothing to say in Canada's affairs, and of course, but I'm sure they're pressuring the Trump administration to put pressure on Canada, which to many Canadians that view as act against their sovereignty, which is the truth. I think eventually a deal will be reached on the automobile, particularly the Chinese investment, but it'll be a lot of anger and a lot of bitterness afterwards. But I think a deal will be reached, and the United States will just have to live what it can live. As I said, the problems between the U.S. and Canada has to be resolved more on the local issue, between people. The political classes, probably won't be really resolved. Now, this idea of there was also another suggestion by a former Egyptian foreign minister saying for regional militaries to handle regional problems. I agree with that, but realistically, and I know people are going to say Israel will block it, that it's none of their business, but I don't think, no, Israel will not tolerate a regional Arab army. They'll feel as a threat. Some say, no, it doesn't. They don't matter. Well, they do matter. They have nuclear weapons, so they do matter. This situation between the Israel and the Arab world will only be resolved when both sides realize they're not going to get rid of each other. Both are going to stay in the same area. From my take on what's going on in Israel is many Israelis believe what they're trying to do is what happened in India in 47. What happened when India got its independence, millions of Muslims moved into Pakistan. That's what the new Israelis are trying to do to the Palestinians, and that's not happening. And I will tell you, from what I read about the Kashmir situation, the conflict never ended in 47, and it's still probably going on right now. And if that's what Israel's trying to do, that's not going to end it. The conflict won't end because of what Israel's trying to do. Repeat what India did in the 40s. And as I said, the only way for this bloodshed, this horror to end is for both sides to realize they're not going to get rid of each other. Israel will still exist. The Arabs will still be there. And because many other sites are still in Jerusalem, that won't end until both sides they're tired of the fighting, tired of seeing their kids getting slaughtered, and both realize they're not going to get rid of each other. And this is why I think the non-alignment movement is going to play a big role, not in ending the conflict, but adding an additional additional voice that could, along with China and the United States, that could bring solving problems like the Middle East to an end. I would like, if you have any questions or suggestions, I'm always open to them. Have a good day. Bye.